For a while now, it's felt like PayPal has been playing defense. But the new CEO, Alex Chris, is saying that's over. He's ready to put the company on offense. So in this explainer, we're going to break down what that actually means and what it signals for the future of the payments giant, all based on his latest remarks.
All right, so this whole story, this new offensive strategy, it really kicks off with a pretty bold claim. PayPal is in the middle of a major turnaround. And look, we're not talking about little tweaks here and there. This is meant to be a signal of a massive shift in the company's health and its direction.
So Chris just comes right out of the gate with this powerful statement, setting a really confident tone. He's basically saying, hey, the hard work of stabilizing things, that's done. And now, after a couple of years of just grinding it out, he says the business is at what he calls a positive inflection point. In other words, it's time to attack.
Okay, but talk is cheap, right? A claim that big needs some real numbers to back it up. And Chris, he's ready with a few key metrics to really make his case. First up, let's talk profit. They're on pace for at least 15% growth in non-GAAP earnings per share this year. Now, what does that even mean? Well, it's a way of looking at profit that kind of clears out some of the one-off noise, and it gives you a much better picture of how the core business is really doing. And believe me, 15% growth, that is a very strong signal. All right, next up, let's talk about one of their hottest areas, buy now, pay later. The amount of money flowing through that platform, it's growing by a whopping 20%, quarter after quarter. That isn't a one-time thing. That's some serious, sustained momentum. And then, of course, there's Venmo. Its revenue growth has jumped by a full 10 points compared to just 2 years ago. That shows that this app isn't just popular, it's finally becoming a real moneymaker. So you take all these numbers, what do they really mean? What's the big picture? Well, according to the CEO, it signals that we're looking at a totally new PayPal, a fundamental shift in what the company is and where it's headed. So the old PayPal, that was all about being the pay button you see at checkout. The new vision, though, is for PayPal and its other brands like Venmo to be, well, everywhere you shop, whether that's online, in a physical store, or even in places we haven't thought of yet. And this quote from Chris, it just nails it. It really gets to the core of this whole offense idea. It's all about creating a version of PayPal that's faster, more profitable, and just built for aggressive growth. And if you want proof that they're confident, look no further than this. For the first time ever, they're going to start paying a dividend. I mean, that's a huge signal. It's like telling investors, hey, we're so sure about our future that we can pour money into growth and still have enough left over to give some back to you. Okay, so that's the big vision. But how are they actually going to pull it off? Well, the strategy boils down to 4 key pillars. Think of these 4 things as the blueprint for where PayPal is headed. First, they've got to keep winning at checkout. That's their bread and butter. Second, they need to scale up their in-person stuff and really grow Venmo. Third, they need to make the back-end payment processing part of their business, the stuff most of us don't see, way more profitable. And finally, number 4, they've got to be scaling up for what's next, for the next generation of growth. So out of that 4-part plan, what's really fascinating is how 2 pieces in particular, Venmo and buy now, pay later, are being singled out. These are being positioned as the real engines for future growth. Let's start with buy now, pay later, or BNPL. PayPal doesn't see this as just another payment option anymore. They're turning it into a magnet, a tool to pull in new customers right when they start thinking about buying something. And you can see the shift right here. It's a really big deal. In the past, you'd only see the option to use buy now, pay later when you were already at the very end ready to pay. But the future? They're going to put it right on the product page itself. So it's not a payment method anymore, it's a reason to shop in the first place. Okay, next up is Venmo. Chris calls this their money movement platform for the next generation. And when you've got almost 100 million people using it, especially younger people who live on their phones, that's just a massive, massive asset.
But here's where it gets really interesting. It's all about the untapped potential. Right now, your average Venmo user brings in about $25 a year for the company. But look at this chart. As soon as that user gets a Venmo debit card or starts using Pay with Venmo, that value quadruples. And if they start getting their paycheck sent there with direct deposit, it's 6 times higher. The room for growth is just enormous.
Okay, finally, let's talk about the future. I mean the real future. Because this isn't just about winning today. It's about getting ready for what's coming next, and that next big wave is absolutely AI. They're talking about something called agentic commerce, and what that really means is building for a world where your AI assistant literally does your shopping for you. Yeah, just imagine telling your phone, hey, buy me a new pair of running shoes, and it just does it. All of it. PayPal wants to be the invisible engine that makes all of that possible, the payment layer that powers everything behind the scenes.
And hey, this isn't just some sci-fi dream. They are actively building this right now. They've already locked in major partnerships with the absolute biggest names in AI. We're talking Google, OpenAI, Perplexity, to make sure PayPal is baked right into the future of how we shop.
And that brings us right back to where we started with this final quote from the CEO. The message couldn't be clearer. The days of playing defense are over. PayPal is officially on offense. They're going after new frontiers, and they're trying to define what commerce is even going to look like in the future. The big question is, will it be enough? In a world that's getting more competitive by the second, we'll have to wait and see.